Hello again, my name's Selma. Just read a rather interesting article on Canada Free Press. I'll attach the link, you're not going to have to look for it. And the title is Remembering Selma, but Ignoring Black Violence. You want to take the time to read this article because it's most interesting. And it highlights certain events that we're all, unfortunately, too familiar with. Remember the shooting of a little black man in Florida. I believe it was in Florida. And that was George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. Remember the media press that all got? Remember how long that trial took? And then you had the fiasco in Ferguson, Missouri. And that took who knows how long. 18 buildings were destroyed. The blacks created most of that violence. Actually, all of that violence. When you take into consideration the less than honorable Attorney General Eric H. Holder went there to fan the flames. They were all accusing Officer Darren Wilson of racism. Eric Holder even sent 40 FBI agents to Ferguson to try to uncover whether or not they could prove a certain racist streak ran down the officer's back. Well, they weren't successful in doing that. The Michael Brown scenario turned out to be what it was. He was a punk gangster, as was Trayvon Martin. You know where Obama said, if I had a son, he would have looked like little Trayvon. The media knows how to play it up because what did they show us? They showed us photographs of Trayvon when he was a little boy, not when he was the hooded gangbanger type of guy, the drug addict mixing Skittles with watermelon tea. And the most recent event took place on March the 7th, and that's when Tony Robinson in Madison, Wisconsin, the 19-year-old black youth, was shot as a result of an altercation. The media didn't mention that the officer was struck in the head and knocked down. No, all they said is that the individual that was shot, this 19-year-old black youth, was unarmed. They also didn't mention that he was on 3 years probation for armed robbery, and he was serving a 3-year probation term. That just sort of slipped by the by. Remember when Barack Hussein Obama went to the defense of one of his professors out of Chicago and called the police stupid when they arrested him? You want to read the article. It's most interesting and it's most revealing. It states here, as someone who spent years in the South when Jim Crow laws were still in effect, I had an understanding of how and why the civil rights movement began in earnest in the late 1950s and gained momentum throughout the 1960s. In 1964, Congress passed a Civil Rights Act, and in 1965, it passed the Voting Rights Act. You want to read the whole article. Black crime and violence against whites, gays, women, seniors, and young people, and lots of others, is astronomically out of proportion. And you know what? It is. Whenever someone that's white says anything, they're called a racist. That's what they call us. What did the less than honorable Attorney General Eric H. Holder have to say? Well, you know what he said. They constantly attack the whites. Read the article and let me know what you think. I sort of told you what I think.